another video since I just saw this pop up. Evoto has released a new update, Evoto 5.0. So I thought I'd go through a video where I'm updating some of the things. Let's see what we've got. We've got browse, organize. So they're trying to get into kind of a catalog situation like what Lightroom has. Remove atmospheric haze with a single click, which I've seen a demo on this. It looks really, really, really cool, especially when you got like haze in the background, mountains, and you want a clean shot. Instantly even out lighting and inconsistencies of your background. So I've seen this too as a demo, and I was quite taken by it because trying to get the lighting balanced is always a trick, even live on set. You see light one way, but your camera really sees light another way. Sorry, while I take a drink of water, this is my fourth video for today, and I thought, this is going to be good. All right. Fixed ratio cropping now leverages AI to locate to ensure your photos are cropped perfectly and highlighting your best features. Because remember when I was doing this cropping, I was showing you what I think might be the best thing or what actually, sells the best for headshots. It'll be interesting to see what it does. So I'm going to take this photo and I'm going to make a copy of it, and then I'm going to redo the whole thing in Evoto 5. So custom backgrounds. Yeah, remember in the last video, I thought I was running Evoto 5, but I wasn't. But Evoto 5 has the ability to upload your own custom backgrounds so you can shoot it however you want. And then when you've got that background now processed digitally, you can store it in your little vault of background templates, and you can put a background in any scene, which is pretty amazing. But again, capturing the person right with the right correct light will make inserting a background more realistic. So you got to. That's going to be an effort to practice that. Added some brushes for baby portraits, and not my thing, but okay. That's cool for people who do baby portraits. Importing presets are now automatic with color correcting profiles, which is really cool. All right, so let's do the update and see what happens. So it's gonna just download this stuff. Some of these things that Evoto has been doing has really been changing my thought process about using it more often. In my description of my last video, I was talking about using the right lens for the right situation. Like you certainly wouldn't use a hammer when a screwdriver will work. So is Evoto going to be the replacement to Lightroom or Photoshop? Probably not, but it is a good tool when you want to process some things really quickly. And they are doing Evoto on iPads now, although from the people that I've been talking to, it's still clunky. It takes a lot of space. It works well, but you got to have a lot of space on your iPad, and you're going to be getting into cloud storage, which is another cost. I have a NAS on my desk, so I've got 20 terabytes of space. So I just throw everything in my NAS, which is kind of cool. Maybe I'll show you. I'll do a video on my NAS. I'm not going to do it today, but I think that's kind of a cool feature. So yeah, let's do the install. Let's go. So as I was saying, when you're doing when you're processing photos, like what is your best process for your photos? Is it the right tool? Is it not the right tool? I threw up these pay-as-you-go type of things or these subscriptions, so you can kind of see this in the background as it's updating and as I'm chatting with you. Photography is an art. It's a subjective art, and using AI, while it was pretty frowned upon a couple of years ago, now it's becoming a new asset class for people who do contests and competitions. And now that we're getting into content awareness or what do you call it, documentation of your files for your content, like it will, oh cool, upgrade your database. Yes, of course. Let me bring this up for Lightroom really quick while we're waiting for this. in Lightroom, um, let me find this really quick. Hopefully, I can find it. Um, Under your preferences, I think it is. I'm trying to remember where it's at. I only remember it being in your exports. So let me bring up the export for this. I'm talking about your content credentials. I'm really gonna encourage you guys to go to a web page, and the web page is. Let me bring this up really quick. I think it's called. Here we go. Adobe Content Authority. Let me shrink this down to fit in here. So when I was just showing you that in Lightroom with my export, um, this is what I'm talking about. Your content credentials are going up to the cloud for your credentials. And what it does is it allows you to say who the photo belongs to. It connects to your accounts so that people can find you there, and it shows your edits or last activity. And so in the Adobe Content Authenticity, you can literally add in you can sign your work. If you think somebody stole your credentials, you can look at it. It just helps you to prepare things. So you're going to start seeing a lot more of this when it comes into cameras, and it's coming more into because Meta just signed on with it. Um, Not only Meta, but other companies are now signing on with it. So let's get back over to Evoto. So what's new? All right, in the library, they created what kind of looks like the cataloging system for Lightroom. So let's make a comparison really quick over here. So in the library of, I'm going to close this down over here. Actually, let me spread this out a little bit. We're going to shrink this all down again anyway when I do the comparison. But in the library, like I was telling you, like my my libraries, this is one catalog. It has all my photos from this year. So if I go and do an open recent, you'll see up here I've got a 2023 catalog, a 2024 catalog, 2022. I've got these catalogs. I only open one catalog a year, and it's my shoots. So I name it the year, month, and date, and then what it is. So here's one for a wedding that I shot. Oh, Lightroom decided to get really slow. So this is a wedding that I shot. Um, I did epic fighting. So I shot like all these amazing pictures for the fights. And the ones that are highlighted are the ones that I processed. Everything else is grayed out. I didn't use. Um, I did some incredible stuff for an event for Secret Knock. Um, a political rally, I was there doing that. Um, some TFPs, a friend's birthday party, which was so much fun. She was a blast. A friend did a Cinco de Mayo party, and he painted some of these pictures live, which was incredible. We just had the best time. But anyway, catalogs are used to in your library, and a lot of people don't think about how they're using them. But in Evoto, there it was the number one of the number one reasons when they asked me 18 months ago, what would it take to switch over to Evoto? And I said, well, I need a catalog system. Like, I need something where I can just open it once, find all my stuff, do everything, or I need a round trip, which means that I'm editing something in Lightroom. I've gone as far as I possibly can. I know Evoto has advanced features, and now I want to send that photo to Evoto. And then when I'm done with Evoto, I want to send it back to Lightroom and then maybe I'll do my vignettes, or I might export it in the way that I like to export it that Evoto can't. And the problem with that is they did not know exactly how they were going to charge for the photo, and it all came down to money. Everything always comes down to money. So they finally figured out that if they import a photo from Lightroom into Evoto, it comes in as a TIFF or a JPEG, and you can do your editing in here. And then when you send it back to Lightroom, it goes back as a TIFF or a JPEG, and then that's when they charge you the credit. And I forgot to tell you guys about the credit system. You don't get charged another credit for every photo that you've already edited. So if I edit a photo in Evoto and I export it, that's my charge for that one photo, whether it's 7 cents, 10 cents, whatever. Okay? Their cataloging system or their referencing system has got a copy of that edit somewhere in their database, and they know that if I bring that photo back into Evoto and I edit it even more and I export it again, it references back to the online catalog, and they go, hey, this guy's already used this as an export. We're not going to charge him anymore for this. So every export is free after the initial one. So you're not paying for every export if it's the same photo. If it's a different photo, yeah, every export you do on a new photo is charged. So I just wanted to be very clear about that. So let's talk about this. So you've seen the project files. They call them project files and not catalogs. So they're showing an edit here, kind of like the library and edit. So here's your catalog over here, or they call them projects. Whereas in Lightroom, they call them your catalogs, and then these are your storage chapters, I guess. I don't know what those things are called. But anyway, let's move on. Dehaze. So yeah, Dehaze is kind of an important thing. We use Dehaze in Lightroom a lot, or at least I use Dehaze a lot, because if you think of contrast in Dehaze as kissing cousins, you'll see that a hazy photo, and I wish I had a hazy photo off the top of my head, maybe under Cabo. This could be kind of a hazy photo. So if I brought this photo up, yeah, it's kind of hazy. So if I brought this photo up in here, I can use contrast, and it looks like it's sharpening it, right? But Dehaze sometimes does a better job. So now I've got that gradient with the sky, but if I come back in with Dehaze, I can just touch with the contrast a little bit more. But then I can pump it up with some clarity. I Because of Lightroom's new landscape feature, which I don't know if you guys have used or not, but it's a new mask. It looks at the entire photo, and now it's looking at landscapes. This is a new feature, so sometimes it's a little buggy, but hey, it figured out where the mountains are. It knows where the water is, it knows where the natural ground is, and it knows where the sky is. So I'm going to create 4 separate masks just to go through this really quick. I'm going to hit reset on all of this, and I'm going to come back into... Wow, really, Adobe? I only wanted to reset what I've done. Let's go do the landscape again. Okay, so it's faster this time because it already created it. Cool. Not as annoying. All right, so natural ground, it thinks that the beach and the mountains over the hills over there are the same thing. Okay, technically, I wish we had the ability to say subtract. Maybe we can come in here and go, oh, they finally did this. Cool, so I can now subtract another mask. This has been something that I've been asking for a long time. However, it was a little sloppy. Look at all this stuff that it left over here. So here's where you're going to have to come in with a brush, and you're going to have to get rid of all this stuff. Now you know why I use green masking, so I can see this stuff really fast. So now I've got a beach. I'm going to bring the beach to more brownish sand. I'm going to include our yellowish sand. I'm going to pump that up. Actually, I'm going to use one of their presets. Actually, they do exposure and shadows. I created my own light and mid. So I'll do a light preset. It's still a little blue, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to pump it over. So now I've got that beautiful sandy beach. I'm going to come over to the water. And the water is a little tricky because maybe we want to make it less blue, make it more blue, increase the saturation, what have you. Anyway, we came in here just because of haze and dehaze and contrast, so kind of made my point on that. Let's go back to Evoto. So they've got a new haze feature to help you get through the hazing. Unifying light. Notice the background. Sometimes it's a challenge. Notice how this photographer set up their lights and the light was brought over from the screen right and it was shot this way. And now they have shadows over here because of the light. And so that was an oversight by the photographer. So unifying the backdrop will help get rid of that. So you can become a forgiving photographer while shooting tethered in the studio right then and there and clean up your backdrop and your mess and your client won't even see it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Updates and optimization, like, cool. Custom backdrops, like, remember what I was telling you, you can drop in your custom backdrops. Adjust smile lines. These are the lines between the nose and the cheek. You can increase them, decrease them. Blush effects for baby portraits because a lot of babies when they're born they have very rosy cheeks and sometimes you don't want that. It all depends on the ethnicity of the child too, so that will help up that tone or down that tone, which is cool. This ratio 16:9 was messed up. I don't know what happened, but they finally figured it out and now it works. So let's close that. Let's get started. Let me bring this back into the screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And it's telling me about the project files over here. I'm just going to squeeze all this in here so we can see it. So it's now walking me through this. And it's given me a little update. So this is what I love about Evoto. Lightroom's been doing this for a little while. Thank God they did because there's a lot of stuff that Adobe threw in there that you're like, I don't know what this does, and it's gotten better over time. But Evoto started from the get-go with these types of showing what this does. So I would highly suggest paying attention to these little summaries because they're cool. So like, yeah, I'm going to create a project. I'm going to name it. I'm going to throw my files in there. Cool, I understand that. So here's my library. Here's my photos. Can I take this photo right here? We're going to get into these color matching things. Really cool. But my question is, can I take this photo and can I duplicate it? Set flag, provide feedback. Not sure. I'm not seeing where I can duplicate it. I can flag it, I can start. Definitely in this, but I really want to have a copy of this photo. Can I, let me come up here and see if I can do this. Sorry, I'm off screen right now because the menu system's up high. I'm looking to see if I can duplicate a photo. And there's nothing on here for duplicating a photo. That's kind of a bummer. So let's see if we can import this again. I don't want to create a new project. I want to add a photo to this. Wow, I'm saying a lot. Sorry guys, I drinking a lot of water. I'm trying to process things in my head. Let's go back into my catalog. By the way, all these files, these are all on my NAS. So I'll show you guys what my NAS looks like in another video, which is really kind of cool. Oh, sorry, fixes. Let's see if I can import this one again. I don't want to create a new project. Please choose to import them into a currently selected project. Import to... You cannot duplicate an image. Okay. This is a problem. This is sad because in Lightroom I can create virtual copies and I can do duplicate copies. I really thought that they had the ability to do copies. Let me do the help under copy. Copy settings, copy devices. Okay, no copy. Duplicate. Nothing for duplicate. Let me see. Virtual. Nothing for virtual. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's just say this is a loss for Evoto, because say for example you really want to do a couple versions of a photo. I mean, over in Lightroom, when I bring in my photos, I'm looking at my library, and I'm going to go to the library of the last meetup that I did, and I'll show you something that I did here, where I had multiple photos, and I wanted to show what I did. So this one right here. Let's go over to develop. You'll notice where it says 3 down here, 1 of 3. This one was the original file. There was no edits done to this one. This is virtual copy number 2. This had adaptive color and some other changes to it. And then this one was copy 3, or what it calls copy 2 because it counts 0, 1, 2. They really should think about humanistic things. But with this one, we got really punchy with everything. This is more like editorialized, and I really loved how this editorial came out. But this was a very basic edit for this one. Come on, Lightroom. Let's go. There we go. And then this one was straight out of camera, so I was pretty impressed. You can see my video card's getting hot up here. So that's what virtual copies allow you to do, so you can kind of play around with your settings. So if they don't have a way of doing duplicates, wow, that kind of that's disappointing. That's really disappointing. All right. Well, we did this guy. We have it documented how I did it. So I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to do reset all effects. And so now we're in Evoto 5. This is Evoto 5. And with Evoto 5, let's see what we can do in here, because they have the AI color matching. So what's kind of cool is I'm going to come in here. We did high end last time. Let's come in here to headshot 1. See what that looks like. It doesn't seem to be processing. That's really interesting. How about headshot 2? I'm not seeing any changes. Headshot 3? Yeah, I'm a little puzzled as to why high-end combination. Wow, it looks like their new presets that were working in 4.3 are not oh wait, we're in color. Sorry guys. See, this is the bonehead thing about Evoto that I can't stand. If you're in color adjustments, reset this. So we're back to where we were. This is really annoying. If you're in color adjustments panel, you don't see any of your presets taking effect. You have to come into the portrait retouching. Let me do this crop really quick. Actually, let's see. Where's the new AI crop? They're talking about the new AI crop and headshot crop. So they're saying 1x1, 2x2, 1.8. I'm gonna go for their biggest one, which is a 2x2.7, and they're gonna say, "Hey, we're looking for your face. Once enabled, this feature is going to be turned on. It only applies to single person." Okay, and won't work in batch. So this is where the crop should be for AI. Remember my crop? Let me come back to Lightroom. Let me come back into the crop that I had done for this one. And we're going to zoom out to fit. There we go. So this crop, I have a little bit more headroom. Let's look where this tie across is down here. We have one little triangle of gray down here, whereas Evoto, they're a little bit higher. Mine's down here. So yeah, I'm not going to say that their headshot is good, because remember what the challenge is with social media or some people's websites is they throw their head in a circle. What you're going to end up getting is the top of the circle cutting through the hair, and then you're going to end up getting the tie, and it's not really pretty. So I'm going to go back to a 4x5 crop, and I want more of this. So I'm going to bring this down just so that I can have more room, and I'm going to go with that crop that I was using, where it gives me a little bit of triangle down here, and it gives me that circular. Okay, so done complaining about that. We're going to get out of that. We're going to go back over here to the portrait retouching. Remember, if you're in this mode, the color adjustments, you're not going to see your presets work. Annoying, really annoying. Okay, so I'm going to go into headshot 1, not maternity, headshot 1. That's not bad. Let's look at side by side. I mean, what do you guys like? Okay, in the comments below, tell me what preset you like. This is headshot 1. Okay, so in the comments down below, just type in headshot 1 if you like headshot 1. I'm gonna clear portrait effects. I'm gonna clear portrait effects. Okay, so we're kind of back. I'm gonna go into headshot 2. That's headshot 2. What do you think of headshot 2? Go ahead and put your comments below. Headshot 3. I'm not seeing a lot of difference with headshot 3. And then let's go back to the high-end one. Okay, so a lot of these are very, very, very similar. And by the way, I'm going to clear out all that stuff again. I'm going to show you what Vanessa Joy did with her portrait. Oh, I was going to show you guys how to create my own preset. I totally forgot. Anyway, Vanessa Joy's preset looks a lot like one of the other presets, but it's clean. I like it. There's, it's amazing. So yeah, anyway, when I say share preset, it's going to give you a code. Here's your code. Here's your Evoto code. You just take everything between this bracket here and this bracket down here, and it says the token's already been copied. And when you send it off to somebody, let's open a note file, and I type it in here. You're going to be grabbing this code right here, So this is the code that you're going to have. And what you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to say presets, import preset, preset token. And when you say preset token, this is where you enter the token. And when you do that, you're going to end up with um, the same exact settings that are going to work off of AI. So just to let you know, like that's how easy it is to get your own presets. So let's just run with Vanessa's really quick, and let's take a look at some of the new features. It's nice because they tell you what the new features are right here in the eyes section. They're not. I'm not seeing anything other. It just said new in here, but I don't know what's new in here because they didn't mark it up. I do know that in makeup, they added a lot more makeup. Hey, you want a newborn? Uh, anyway, gonna get off that one. Vigorous. That's just weird. All right, this is the time where you start laughing again, because I'm just coy. By the way, they have these amount sliders, so you can like dial in how much you want. Really kind of cool. We got some dudes in here for a change, although that's questionable. So yeah, just new stuff. All right, let's go back into the backdrop. Let's see if the backdrop actually has what we're looking for. Here's a backdrop changer. Um, Distraction removal. We don't have any distractions detected. Clean backdrop. Again, there's no distractions. Unified lighting. Again, there's none of that. So it's kind of hard to show you those things right now. I wish I had a photo of a backdrop that I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe I'll come back and revisit this in a part 2 of Evoto. But we got these fabrics again. This did a better job than it did on the first go around, so this is better. It has a stretch, so this is original backdrop. You can crop it in a little bit and give it that vignette on the back. Change the eds. I'm not sure where that is. Change your opacity if you think it's too bright. You can dial it back in. That's kind of cool. Your size, you can scale that up. Yeah, that's really helpful if you've got something that's cool. You can move it up and down vertically, say that there's a different spot that you like better. But notice right here, this shoulder, I don't think that Evoto picked it up very clearly because it's a little messed up. Anyway, horizontal, if you want to shift it horizontally, you can do that there too. So that's kind of cool. Retain all shadows. Again, if you were shooting like in their demo at the very beginning, it was showing you shadows. It will put those shadows back on this backdrop if you want it. And then it actually gives you a blend mode for that, which is kind of cool because you can lighten up the shadow or you can darken it just by choosing multiply or soft light. So kind of like that. Again, no sky in this one, so we're not going to even go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, that's Evoto 5. Not a lot of new stuff. I would say the healthiest new thing in here is your library, because it kind of puts everything over here and allows you to go to folders, which you couldn't see the folders before. So it's picking up on my NAS, but it's only seen one directory. It's not seeing the above directories, so I'm going to have to import more folders. And this says experimental. I'm not sure I'll say sure. Documents, but that's not where I'm going to tell you to go. I'm going to tell you to come over here to my photo storage. These are my photo storages. Let's see if it'll actually like pick up on all the different. This might be like a crapshoot. Let's give it a second and see what happens. I think I just overwhelmed it and broke it, so let's get out of that. Let me see if I can just put in one folder. Let's put in my 2024 folder. Oh, this one's got a lot of projects in it, so let's see if it'll just import one folder really quickly. And the answer to quickly is not happening. Okay, so not very helpful, but right here it does say in experiment, so it's kind of figuring it out, but it went looking for other stuff. What's cool is they created a bin file here, so if you delete a file from here, if you say, how did I delete it before? If I say delete, it will say move to Evoto bin or delete from disk. So if you put it in the bin, it'll stay in there for 30 days. Kind of like that because it will retain all your edits. Whereas in Lightroom, if you say delete from Lightroom catalog, you've lost all your edits. So I'm going to say the win goes to Evoto because if we say move it to the bin, it will keep all of our edits. It just won't delete them. But if we say delete from disk, then it chucks everything. And you know from Lightroom, if I say remove photo, it's going to say remove from Lightroom. If I do that, it's thrown away everything that I've ever done for the catalog. All the data that's in the catalog for what I did for my non-destructive edits for this file are gone. And there's no recovery. If I say delete from disk, it will completely delete everything from the disk. Whereas Evoto, if you actually choose to delete it, you can choose to put it in the bin, which will retain all your edits, but just get it out of your catalog. But it will be deleted after 30 days. So that's a win for Evoto. I'm gonna call that cool. So you guys, that's Evoto 5. Some of the updates for Evoto 5. I kind of like a lot of the stuff that they're doing. By the way, just FYI, there are masks here, and they're all on this side. Why they're on this side, um, I really don't know. And their masking system is not a lot of fun. I don't enjoy it. If you come into... Let's see if we can do this really quick. So I have a reference that I just downloaded. Color Match is based on cloud computing technology, which requires it to be uploaded to the server for the processing. So I'm going to give a server in Singapore an image that I have, but that's okay. I looked at it. It's cool that they give you this policy upgrade, but I pulled this from a screenshot on what was it? It was YouTube. I liked what it looked like. So this is the photo. It was, very cool. I love this colorization. I don't know what it's going to apply, but I'm going to say bring this in, and it's processing this out. And look at that, color match applied. Now it looks disgusting on this dude. I get that, but reality is it's in here permanently. So if I bring it over to this photo and I say color match this picture, it will process it, and then it does that. So if you're doing a movie genre and you shot for something like that, kind of cool. I kind of dig it. Now the question is, oh look, instructions on it. Not really. But can we do the color effects? Reset all color effects. There we go. Let's do reset color effects right here. And it threw away all of our process. Oh wait, no. Again, this thing. Did it throw away our processing? No, it did not. Okay, cool. All right, you guys, that's it for Evoto 5 and some of the updates for Evoto 5. I hope that was cool. Remember, if you're voting, go back a few minutes and take a look at Portrait 1, 2, 3, and then Vanessa Joy's portrait, and of course, we had the high-end portrait. Tell me which one you thought was kind of cool. Um, Actually, let's do this really quick. Let's throw away the portrait effects. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do portrait. If you need to screenshot this, you can screenshot it. But I'm gonna go into before and after, and I'm gonna do the high-end portrait. So this is the high-end portrait. So this is a high-end portrait. Let's clear all the visual effects on that. Let's go into headshot 1. That's headshot 1. It looks like it's given us some more natural skin and left a few elements on there. So let's clear that off. Remember portrait 1. Let's clear that off. Let's go into headshot number 2. So this is, they cleared this up a little bit more. This is a little bit more. Let's go into, clear that off. Let's go into 3, headshot 3. This really smoothed the heck out of this guy's skin. Okay, so good, better, over the top. Let's just go with that. Reset that. Let's go over to Vanessa's portrait, Vanessa Joy's portrait. Let's click that, and hers looks like that. So hers is almost, I would say hers is between 2 and 3, realistically. So in the comments below, tell me what you guys think of which portrait is your favorite. And thanks very much for joining me on the Evoto update for version 5.